astounding claim regarding an incident that went on in 2005. Let's delve into it. Now, as customary, when you join the mafia, you take an oath called omerta. Omerta is translated as a code of silence about criminal activity and refusal to give evidence to authorities. Now, as is well known on this channel, I've talked about John Gotti sitting down with the federal government in 2005. At one point, he would call it a, quote, weak moment. That said, on Patrick Bet-David's interview, he continues to try to get away from the fact that in the streets he is looked at as what he doesn't want to be, a government informant. That said, in the interview, he made excuse after excuse in regards to this document, stating that he, quote, got approval from other members of his family and members of other families to sit down with the feds. That said, that doesn't make sense due to the fact that Junior, according to him, was shelved, aka banished from the mafia in 1999 by his father after he asked him to essentially leave the mob. The document and the subsequent sit-down happened 6 years later in 2005, which doesn't make sense due to the fact that if he was shelved, the mafia would never deal with him. Now, he claims that multiple people inside his own family agreed with it and said that he should go along with it, and that includes Joseph Arcuri, a man who spent nearly 50 years in the mob and no way would ever elicit someone sitting down with the government. He also claims that Alphonse Funzi Siska, as well as Arnold Squitieri, the boss at the time of the Gambino crime family, instructed him that they did not agree with his decision. He would also state that Bonanno boss Joe Massino, a man that Gotti Jr. had known for years, would tell him that he should not go along with it due to the fact that he would be perceived as, guess what, a rat. Now, Jr. states that he would tell Massino that he loved him, that it didn't matter, though. He was a civilian at that point. So again, why would the mob sit down with a civilian and talk to the civilian who isn't in the mob anymore about why he shouldn't sit down with the government? None of this makes sense. And unfortunately, it was a good interview. That said, it was overshadowed by absolutely ridiculous statements regarding a 302 that if John Gotti Jr. would just come out and talk about and admit that he did, a lot of things would be alleviated. The truth is, whether or not you believe it, the name Gotti is no longer synonymous with organized crime. In fact, people like Junior are no longer welcome in those circles.